In 2021, about 7 million people worldwide lost their lives to stroke. The World Stroke Organization predicts a 50% increase in stroke deaths by 2050, reaching around 9.7 million each year. One common daily habit could be quietly raising your stroke risk while you sleep. No chest pain, no clear warnings. You go to bed feeling fine, but by morning your speech may be slurred, your balance off, or one side of your body paralyzed. As a brain doctor, I've seen this too often, and it's not always tied to smoking, sugar, or lack of exercise, but to something unexpected: vegetables. Yes, you heard that right. Every day, millions of seniors fill their plates with greens and vegetables, thinking they're making healthy choices. Many vegetables do support brain and heart health, but some, when eaten incorrectly or in the wrong combinations, can silently set the stage for trouble. They may contribute to blood pressure spikes, narrowed arteries, or even blood clots that can trigger a stroke. It's not about avoiding vegetables, but understanding how to choose and prepare them wisely to protect your health and reduce risks as you age. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 common vegetables you probably have in your fridge right now that could be putting your brain at risk without you knowing. So if you care about your independence, your memory, and staying out of the hospital, watch this all the way through. What you learn could save your life, or the life of someone you love. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Let's begin. 1. Kale. It has long been hailed as a superfood, packed with fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins. It's found in everything from green smoothies to power bowls. And for many adults over 60, it feels like the perfect way to fight aging naturally. But here's what almost no one tells you. When consumed raw and in excess, kale can quietly interfere with one of the most delicate systems in your body, your thyroid, and by extension, your brain. Kale belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, which contains compounds called goitrogens. These substances can disrupt your body's ability to absorb iodine, a critical mineral your thyroid needs to function. For a younger person, this disruption might not matter, but for older adults, especially those with already sluggish thyroids or borderline iodine deficiency, it can push you into a dangerous zone without you even knowing. When your thyroid function slows, so does your brain. You may start noticing brain fog in the morning, struggling to find words mid-sentence, or forgetting why you walked into a room. You may blame it on aging, but what if it's your green smoothie? One of my patients, Carol, 68, switched to a raw kale smoothie every morning thinking she was boosting her health. Within 3 months, she reported fatigue, brain fog, and low mood. Her blood work revealed subclinical hypothyroidism. We adjusted her diet, lightly steaming the kale, reducing frequency, and reintroducing iodine-rich foods, and her symptoms began to fade. The truth is, kale isn't bad. But at this age, food becomes more than nutrition. It becomes chemistry. And if your body is more sensitive or fragile, then even healthy foods must be approached with wisdom. So if kale is part of your daily routine, please pause and reassess. Lightly cook it, rotate your greens, talk to your doctor about iodine levels. Because your mind deserves clarity and your brain needs balance, not disruption. Sometimes the path to wellness isn't more green, it's smarter green. 2. Spinach, that vibrant green leaf we've always been told to trust. A symbol of strength, vitality, and smart eating. But for those of us over 60, this so-called superfood could quietly be working against our brain. As a neurologist, I've seen it more than once. Healthy routines built on good intentions that slowly set the stage for something devastating. The issue with spinach isn't one bowl of salad. It's the daily repetition, green smoothies, raw salads, powdered greens, without realizing what's building up beneath the surface. Spinach contains oxalates, natural compounds that bind to calcium in your bloodstream. In younger adults with strong kidney function and proper hydration, this isn't usually a problem. But as we age, even mild dehydration or subtle kidney decline can impair the body's ability to flush these compounds out. The result? Calcium oxalate crystals, tiny invisible particles that stiffen arteries, narrow blood flow, and over time, help form the very clots that can trigger a stroke in your sleep. Let me share the story of Howard Parker, a 77-year-old retired dentist. Healthy, active, devoted to his clean diet. Every night, he made a smoothie with raw spinach, banana, and almond milk, believing it was protecting his brain. One morning, his wife found him at the kitchen table, slumped over, unable to speak. Stroke. His lab work later revealed stiffened arteries, elevated oxalates, and compromised kidney function, all from a habit he thought was helping him. That's the frightening part. There were no symptoms, no pain, just a healthy routine that became a silent storm in his bloodstream. This isn't to say spinach is bad, but in excess, raw, and without considering your age, your kidneys, and your medications, it can become dangerous, especially when combined with diuretics, blood thinners, or calcium supplements. If spinach is part of your daily ritual, take a moment to reassess. Lightly steam it. Rotate your greens. Talk to your doctor. Because being healthy isn't just about what you eat, it's about knowing how it works in your body at your age. 3. Cucumber. The refreshing snack that might quietly sabotage your brain while you sleep. It seems innocent enough, doesn't it? A few slices of cucumber before bed, crisp, hydrating, and light on calories. For years, cucumbers have earned their place as a safe food, especially for older adults watching their weight or blood sugar. But what if I told you this well-intentioned habit might be setting the stage for dangerous blood pressure swings, overnight dehydration, and in the worst cases, stroke? As a neurologist, I've seen how the simplest habits, especially at night, can carry hidden risks. You see, cucumbers are natural diuretics. They promote fluid loss by increasing urine output, flushing out water and sodium. During the day, this may not be an issue, but consume them before sleep, particularly in an aging body with slower kidney function and more fragile blood vessels, and the effects can be dangerous. Fluid loss at night leads to electrolyte imbalances. Blood pressure can drop too low in the early hours, only to rebound sharply at dawn. That swing? It's a perfect setup for clot formation, vessel rupture, or brain ischemia. Let me tell you about Selena Green, 81, a retired teacher from Ohio. She came to my clinic after several frightening mornings of dizziness and blurred vision. Every evening, she'd snack on cucumber slices and sip lemon water, her alkalizing ritual. But her labs revealed low sodium and unstable overnight blood pressure. Then came the mini stroke. Her speech slurred, her face drooped, and for a terrifying hour, she didn't recognize her own daughter. It wasn't until we looked closely that the pattern became clear. Her nightly cucumber habit, combined with her blood pressure medication, had quietly disrupted her circulatory rhythm. The lesson? Even healthy foods can become harmful when our bodies change, especially at night when the brain is most vulnerable. At our age, hydration isn't simple. Electrolyte balance matters. So before you reach for those cucumber slices tonight, remember, even the safest foods require wisdom as we age. 4. Broccoli. The trusted brain food that could quietly starve your mind of oxygen. For decades, we've been told, eat your broccoli, and truthfully, it's packed with antioxidants, fiber, and nutrients that support overall health. But if you're over 60, there's something you deserve to know, something that most nutrition labels won't tell you. Under the right conditions, broccoli can quietly become a hidden risk to your thyroid, your circulation, and even your brain. Here's why. Broccoli belongs to the cruciferous family of vegetables, alongside kale, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage. While undeniably nutritious, these vegetables also contain compounds called goitrogens. In large amounts, especially when eaten raw, goitrogens can interfere with your thyroid's ability to produce hormones, heart rate, and blood flow. For a younger body, occasional raw broccoli isn't a problem, but in adults over 60, where thyroid function may already be slowing, daily consumption of raw cruciferous vegetables can tip the balance. The result? A slower metabolism, irregular blood pressure, unstable heart rhythm, and sluggish circulation, all of which quietly raise your risk for blood clots and strokes. I remember Arthur James, 79, a retired engineer and lifelong problem solver. Determined to stay mentally sharp, he switched to a plant-based diet filled with raw greens, including broccoli smoothies twice a day. At first, he felt energized. But then came the fatigue, the brain fog, the numbness in his hand. His family thought it was just aging, until one morning, he collapsed while walking his dog. It was a mild stroke. His labs revealed low thyroid function, thickened blood, and slow circulation, all triggered by what he believed was a healthy habit. So if broccoli is part of your daily routine, pause and reconsider. It's not about eliminating vegetables. It's about adapting them to your age, your health, and your medications. Because even the healthiest foods can become harmful when the body's chemistry changes with time. Your brain deserves balance, not burden. 5. Garlic. The natural cure that could thin your blood to the point of a brain bleed. Most older adults believe garlic is one of the healthiest things they can eat. They're told it's natural, it lowers cholesterol, improves circulation, and even fights infections. And yes, garlic can be powerful. But that power cuts both ways. For seniors, especially those already taking blood pressure or heart medications, garlic can quietly become too powerful, thinning your blood to the point where a single fragile vessel in your brain can rupture without warning, without pain, while you sleep. Here's the real danger. Garlic contains allicin, a compound known to reduce platelet aggregation, essentially acting as a natural blood thinner. And that might sound like a good thing, especially if you're worried about clots. But when combined with aspirin, Plavix, warfarin, or other prescribed anticoagulants, garlic doesn't just support healthy blood flow, it can amplify the effects of medication, sometimes to the point where your blood becomes too thin to clot when it needs to. This isn't just theory. One of my patients, Mrs. Mary Whitmore, 84, a retired piano teacher from Oregon, came to me after an episode that changed her life. She had been taking warfarin for atrial fibrillation, carefully monitored by her doctor, but she'd also started eating 2 raw garlic cloves every night, something she read in a health magazine that reversed aging. At first, she felt energized, but then came the headaches, the confusion, the nausea. One evening, she collapsed while brushing her hair. A brain scan revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside the brain. No trauma, no fall, just one small blood vessel that couldn't seal itself because her blood was too thin. Her INR, a measure of how thin the blood is, had spiked dangerously high, not because of her medication, but because the raw garlic had amplified its effects beyond control. Mary survived, but she now requires a walker, daily speech therapy, and full-time care. What's most tragic? She thought she was doing everything right. She told me, "I never thought garlic could hurt me. It's food, not a drug." And that's the problem. When you're over 60, food can become medicine or poison, depending on what else your body is going through. Garlic isn't inherently bad, but at this age, it must be used with caution and under supervision, especially if you're on any medications that affect your blood or heart rhythm. A little bit of raw garlic here and there might be fine, but daily high doses, especially on top of prescribed drugs, that's not natural. It's dangerous. And here's the cruel irony. While garlic can make your blood too thin to clot, another common vegetable, praised for its antioxidants, can have the opposite effect. It can raise your blood pressure, constrict your vessels, and quietly set the stage for a clot to block the blood to your brain. 6. Eggplant. The forgotten vegetable that could constrict your arteries and trigger a stroke without warning. Eggplant seems harmless, even healthy. It's a staple in many heart-friendly recipes, packed with fiber, antioxidants, and low in calories. It's often praised as a brain food thanks to a compound called niacin, known to protect brain cells from oxidative damage. But what most seniors don't realize is that eggplant also contains solanine, a naturally occurring plant toxin that, in the aging body, can quietly set off a dangerous chain reaction inside your circulatory system. Solanine is part of the nightshade family, and in small doses, most healthy adults can tolerate it. But for people over 60, especially those with weakened circulation, chronic inflammation, or underlying neurological issues, solanine can cause vasoconstriction, which means your blood vessels narrow. When that happens in the brain, blood flow drops. And when blood flow drops, the risk of clot formation skyrockets, especially at night when blood pressure tends to fluctuate. I remember one patient vividly, Mr. Stephen Monroe, age 82, a retired railroad mechanic from Kentucky. He was active, alert, and proud of cooking his own meals. One of his favorite dishes was eggplant parmesan. He made it twice a week. But over time, he began having strange symptoms: headaches, cold hands, and a heaviness in his chest when walking upstairs. His primary care physician thought it was just aging, But one morning, Stephen collapsed in his driveway. He had suffered an ischemic stroke. A clot had blocked blood flow to the left side of his brain. During our review, we found no cholesterol issues, no smoking history, but his labs showed signs of vascular inflammation and a buildup of compounds consistent with solanine sensitivity. His diet, high in eggplant and other nightshades, had been quietly narrowing his arteries. It formed blood clots in the shadows, undetected, until one reached his brain. Stephen now uses a wheelchair and, while he's mentally sharp, he told me, "Doc, I thought I was eating smart. I didn't know I was slowly cutting off my own blood supply." And that's the lesson. It's not just about what's healthy in general. It's about what's healthy for you at your age with your history. Eggplant isn't poison, but in large amounts and in older adults with circulation issues, it's a risk that builds slowly, then strikes fast. So if these 5 healthy vegetables can be dangerous, especially for the aging brain, what should you be eating to protect your memory, your clarity, and your independence? Let's talk about the foods that truly nourish the older brain, naturally, safely, and effectively. 6. So what should you eat? Real foods that truly protect the aging brain. After hearing how 5 common vegetables can quietly raise your stroke risk, many seniors are left asking, what's even safe to eat anymore? It's a fair question, and one that deserves a thoughtful, science-backed answer. Because here's the truth most people overlook. Your brain doesn't need trendy superfoods or supplements. It needs real, whole, natural foods in the right balance, eaten at the right time for your age and body. I once treated Mrs. Margaret Wilson, 73, a retired school principal from Arizona. She walked into my clinic with a drawer full of supplements and a heart full of frustration. "I'm trying everything," she told me. Vitamin D for bones, E for circulation, a brain-boosting smoothie every night loaded with spinach, garlic, and eggplant. But despite her efforts, she felt dizzy every morning. Her memory was slipping, her blood pressure spiked overnight. What she didn't realize was that her healthy routine, packed with foods and pills that seemed good, was creating subtle chemical imbalances in her aging body. It was thinning her blood too much in some places, thickening it in others. It was dehydrating her brain, spiking her blood sugar, and altering how her medications worked. The result? A dangerous setup for blood clots and microstrokes, the kind that slowly steals your balance, clarity, and independence. So we did something radical. We cleared the clutter. We replaced the pills and powders with simple meals built from brain-friendly foods. A boiled egg and avocado for clean protein and healthy fat. A slice of whole grain toast for slow, stable energy. A handful of blueberries rich in polyphenols that reduce brain inflammation. A glass of room temperature water to gently rehydrate the brain after sleep. Sometimes we'd add walnuts or a small piece of salmon for omega-3s. That was it. Within just a few weeks, Margaret's dizziness faded, her memory sharpened, her blood pressure returned to a safer range. "I feel like I'm finally feeding my brain," she told me. And she was. Because real food doesn't just fill you, it heals you. It doesn't create spikes, crashes, or silent damage. It supports every vessel, every neuron, every breath. But here's the warning. Even these healing foods must be eaten in the right way, because timing, hydration, and medication interactions still matter. What works for one person may backfire for another if the body is inflamed, dehydrated, or vulnerable. So now that you know what to eat, there's one last truth to face. Perhaps the most important of all. It's not the food or the pill that decides your future. It's your awareness of it. Let's talk about that. Because the final message could be the wake-up call that saves your brain and your independence. Awareness is the most powerful medicine you have after 60. If you've made it this far, it means you care. Not just about living longer, but about living well. And that's why I want to leave you with the one message I've learned after decades of caring for the aging brain. It's not the food you eat, the pills you take, or the exercise you do that protects you the most. It's your awareness. At 60, 70, or 80, your body no longer responds the way it did at 30. Your liver processes slower, your kidneys filter differently. Your brain is more sensitive to small shifts in hydration, blood pressure, and nutrients. That's not a weakness, it's nature. But what becomes dangerous is when we ignore those changes and keep living like we're still young. Most strokes I've treated in seniors didn't happen because of obvious things like smoking or obesity. They happened because of silent habits. The healthy green smoothie is overloaded with spinach, the bedtime cucumber, the garlic clove on blood thinners, the raw broccoli salad, the nightly eggplant dinner. All innocent, all well-meaning, but all capable of forming blood clots or triggering bleeds in the brain when the body's chemistry is already fragile. And most heartbreaking of all, these strokes stole independence. They stole speech, memory, and mobility, not from people who were careless, but from people who were trying their best. So here is my deepest plea to you. Slow down. Ask questions. Read every label. Listen to your body when it whispers, not just when it screams. Talk to your doctor before adding anything, even a vitamin or a vegetable, to your routine. Because sometimes the smallest choices have the biggest consequences. You are not powerless. You are wiser now than ever. And your awareness, your willingness to question and learn, may be the single strongest medicine you have. Stay curious. Stay cautious. Stay alive. Your brain deserves it. You deserve it, though. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.